Welcome to the Get Back, music work talk in Central Texas, Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed private sector employment law attorney of your choice. Okay, welcome back. This is the Get Back for June 18th, 2021, and we're celebrating Juneteenth today for the first time as a national holiday. They got that in right at the last second, I guess, yesterday, and the federal offices are closed. And we considered closing as well, but there's too many things to talk about. So, yeah, man. So, yeah, I guess we could start. We always start with the websites at the bottom here. If you're looking for information on the union or on unemployment, get it from the best place, which is the union website, of course, or the TWC website for unemployment. It's going to have the most factual, up-to-date stuff. It's just sometimes difficult to find. And that's kind of what we started talking about. But welcome, Russell and Mark. Thanks for joining me again. I'm Aaron. We usually do beverages. I'm doing coffee once again. What are you gentlemen drinking?
Spring water.
Mm-hmm.
Good old green tea coming up.
Oh, yeah. That looks like a different cup, though, Mark.
It's cold.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That may be the first change in beverage for you on this show. I'm sure not.
Like the woodchuck seeing a different shadow? I mean, what's going on, Mark?
I don't know.
What do you know?
Does that means the summer is going to be hotter than we thought? Maybe. I don't know. Man. Well, we got all kinds of stuff on the docket here, but I guess we should talk about unemployment first. I've heard from a couple musicians this week, at least one of which, what was it? They had their, it was a similar thing. I've heard from some folks that they had to send in their tax info, to prove their musician employment status or their self-employment status. So the folks are still messing with that, even though we're quickly running out of the time when we can actually qualify for benefits. But
to speak on that point, it's
Please.
Not just qualifying for benefits; it's avoiding having to pay back what you've already received.
Right. Yeah, and
so it is something to pay attention to. I mean,
Absolutely.
If you get one of those notices from TWC, don't ignore it just because the benefits are running out next week.
That's an excellent point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to retroactively lose those benefits and have to pay them back, right? That's sort of the implication.
Yeah, I mean, the letter that I got from them said I would have to pay benefits back starting last December all the way up to mid-April.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would be a sizable chunk. So I'm still waiting to hear if they correctly processed my documents or not.
Right.
my tax documents. I don't know. I mean, I won't know probably until I get word from them one way or the other, whenever that'll be.
Right. And to remind the regular viewers, of course, that it turned out that they had your documents already, right?
Yeah, I sent them a year ago, April. I sent them all in. They just didn't know that they were there, I guess. I don't know. So.
Yeah, very interesting stuff.
But that doesn't mean that they're going to pay attention to them now. After I've reminded them that they're there and they have acknowledged that they're there, that doesn't mean that the right person is going to see them at the right time. So I don't know if I'm out of the woods yet or not.
Based on our previous experience, I hear you. Yep. So I think that's an excellent and succinct way to put it. Yeah, just don't ignore that notice for sure. Because you don't want to just throw your hands up and say I'm not doing it, and then get a bill for 6 months worth of payments or something.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing I heard from musicians this week was we had one musician who suddenly, who's been receiving benefits for quite some time, 10, 11 months or something, and then just this week had work searches retroactively imposed on their account for the previous 2 weeks, like just starting on like May 23rd or something, even though they're a union member, and haven't had to do work searches at all this whole time. So I don't know what would have caused that. Suddenly their union status was changed in the TWC system, because it hadn't changed, in the union system. They're still a union member in good standing. So it was, that was very puzzling too. So that's another thing you don't want to ignore, because the work search thing can creep up on you if they say you're required to do it, and they ask you to show your work searches for a particular week in the past, and you don't have them, then you have a big problem. So. So another thing to watch out for, I guess, in these last few weeks, and maybe going forward too. I don't know. But have you guys heard anything about anything like that?
Not needing to do work searches.
Yeah, that's interesting. Of course, union members don't have to do work searches because we have a hiring hall, and we have been booking work for our musicians, even though we're not really a booking agency. Different employers call us, and we'll contract out gigs for our members, and we also have access to a national booking agency called AFM Entertainment. All of our members can use that as well. So there's really a lot of employment opportunities as well. So
I did have one strange thing happen from. I finally got my identity verified.
Oh, this week? Did that happen this week?
Yeah. Well, I decided to be an idiot and go back on ID.me. And I did, and filled out all the stuff again and went through all the steps. And I actually had a video interview with somebody from ID.me.
Really?
Yeah. It took like 45 minutes. I had to wait for it to happen, and it finally happened. And there was this guy sitting there.
Wow.
Who had me hold up my license and my documents up to the screen.
What?
And a pic. Yeah. I mean, it came out of the clear blue. I had no idea that was going to happen. Wow. And a couple of days later, I got a notice from the TWC saying that my identity had been verified. And I got a payment for a week in April that I have no idea why I would have gotten a payment for it.
What?
So, yeah, I mean, it's like, hello. I mean, at least the mistakes that they're making now are making me money rather than costing me money. But, yeah, I was pretty confused by the whole thing, and there's no explanation about why that. It was the second week in April, and I guess I applied for benefits, and maybe I didn't get them because my identity wasn't verified at that point. I don't remember that.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's like 5 amazing things in a row right there.
Yeah.
You did the ID.me thing again, and it worked.
Yeah.
You got a personal interview.
Yeah.
You got confirmation from the TWC. Nobody gets that, Mark. Who are you?
I don't know. That's what my roommate says. She says I'm the most blessed TWC person she knows, which may be true, except I have had my problems with them,
Well, and you've
And
done
I've
a lot of
spent a
work.
lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time on the phone.
Wow.
But you did all this in one day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was on hold with TWC for 1 hour and 10 minutes
Wow.
in order to talk to them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got some actual money at the end of the
Yeah, which I didn't even ask for.
Yeah.
That's the strange part of this whole thing, is it just appeared in my and I look on the payment request forms, and there it is. It's listed now for April, whatever that second week of April is. So it's like,
wow, man.
I don't know.
That's wild, brother. But hey, I'm glad to hear it. So
Yeah.
there we go.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, until they realize that they made a mistake, and then they want the money back.
Well, geez,
Right?
yeah.
I mean, which I fully expect to happen, because
Yeah.
I don't think there's any real reason why I should have gotten that. I probably shouldn't be saying that on the air, but I don't think they're watching this.
Yeah, the TWC, I don't think, has been watching this broadcast,
We'll
but
exit that part out.
you never know. But if you work at the TWC and you're watching this broadcast, let us know. We'd love to have you on.
We need you.
Yeah,
we need you
wow.
bad.
Oh wow, man. Well, thank you for sharing that, Mark. That's really.
I thought that would
amazing
make your
story.
day.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
So there's no indication that payment from April was a payment that you didn't get? It's like an extra payment or something?
I can't really tell you what it is, because it just showed up
Wow.
in my bank account, and I
Mhm.
thought, boy, that's really strange. And so I went on the TWC website, and it's listed there as a payment for that second week. And it happened the day or 2 days after I got the notice from TWC saying that I was finally verified.
Wow.
So I'm assuming there's some connection between one and the other, but like I say, I wasn't given a lot of information about it.
Yeah. It seems like that must be connected. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, what a trip, man. Jeez. Man. All right. Well, yeah. Geez, thank you so much for sharing that. That's that's pretty mind blowing. But yeah. So I mean, good things can happen, and hopefully that good thing will stay in your bank account.
Stay in my bank account. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't expect it to.
The good
Wow.
thing is, see, you didn't leave the system. You didn't just give up.
Well, I haven't been filing claims for the last month because I received a PPP loan.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do both. And I knew that, and I stopped filing. But of course, I'm still getting communications from TWC, and I probably will for a long time. But that's okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Wow. Man. All right. Well, geez. The other big thing with unemployment is the campaign that has sort of spun up. After, when was it? Well, I guess it was like sort of during our broadcast last week that this was spinning up, and we didn't have time to talk about it during the broadcast. But it's been on the union Facebook page now. But it's this campaign with the AFM and Actors Equity and IATSE, which is the stagehands union, and the Texas AFL-CIO. That's about extending unemployment for arts workers, because our work specifically, it's not saying that, like, they should extend the aid because we're arts workers and we're special. Although that's a perception that could be out there. It's really because our work is not coming back 100% yet. Especially the theater work. It's just not. It's not going to be there. It's not even really, the theater work is not even going to really start till September, right? The plays, the musicals, the touring shows and stuff are not starting up until September. Of course, we're finding a little freelance stuff here and there, of course, but it's not even going to be able to even be close to 100% until after September. So that's sort of the point of this, is that we're, arts workers are still unemployed through no fault of their own, and yeah, really still need this unemployment aid in July and August
Sure,
at least. So anyway, that it's a letter writing campaign is the thing that came out first, and that's what we posted on the union Facebook page, and we're probably going to do an email blast to the members about it because not everybody's on Facebook, right? And then there are two other elements to it as well. There's a thing called a capsule video campaign where it's asking us to make a short video, just saying, yeah, my work's not coming back till at least September, and this aid will help me, and then the other element is there's kind of a demonstration action on Thursday, which will be before our next broadcast. So that's why we had to talk about it today. So it's the last chance on this show to talk about it. But they're meeting down at Lloyd Doggett's office, our representative to Congress for this area, and they're going to march from there, or we're going to march from there down to Greg Abbott's office, the governor, to drop off all the letters, that about this. And the good thing is it's growing out, So it's what those four initial organizations, the arts unions and the Texas AFL-CIO. But now it's also including a group called the Center for Popular Democracy, which is a national group. And they have a campaign that's representing all unemployed people, and their event they're sort of running the event on Thursday, and it's Thursday the 24th. The event's called Unemployed Action, and that's going to be the march from Lloyd Doggett's office down to Greg Abbott's office, and that's going to be in the morning, though. It's not very musician friendly, but it's going to be cooler. It's going to be outdoors, so it's 9 in the morning. And they expect to be done, around 10 or 10:30, but it is downtown, so getting there is going to be a rush hour proposition, right? But it'll be interesting. That has an event on Facebook. And then there's also a registration you can do optionally, but you can just show up as well. So we'll put the link down in the show notes as well, so everybody can check that out. But it's a national campaign. There's going to be actions all over the country, but particularly in the states that are cutting off the unemployment aid right at the same time. I think is it 18 states now, or is it more than that?
I think it's more than that.
I think it might be even more than that. And that's sort of bowing down to the employers and supporting the employers over the workers in this case, right? Because the employers think that this is going to send more workers back to work, when from the worker perspective, we really don't think it is going to do that. It's just going to put people in trouble and at risk of losing their houses.
There's a firm in New York that just came out and said, be back in the office by September or else.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But those workers are working from home, though, right? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's getting to be a little tense around those issues. Yeah. For sure.
I'm old enough to remember the last time somebody said that was Ron Reagan when he fired the air traffic controllers.
Oh, yeah.
Told them to be back to work or else meant you get fired.
In the 80s, you're talking about. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that event was the beginning of a lot of troubles with unions and labor back in, was that 82, I think, right, when that happened? Yeah.
Well, that was his aim, was to dismantle the union.
Right. Yeah, and it weakened all the unions across the whole country, and it should never have happened. But they got the right people, the right people for them in the Department of Labor and the the Labor Relations Board, and yeah, that's definitely a tragedy for the last 3 generations, for sure. Yeah.
Well, when you have employers use that term or else,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a threat. I mean,
It is.
Well, isn't what he said is if you can go to a restaurant, you can come to work.
Who
yeah,
said that, Mark?
The governor of New York, I
Oh.
think. Or
yeah,
no,
this is
or
actually an employer that said it out.
Hmm.
Trying not to drop his
oh,
name.
I'm sorry. Maybe you're right. It wasn't the governor. It was an employer that said that. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
He actually used the words or else
Mhm.
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
an
and that,
exclamation point, which
right. Right.
that's
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's a whole other issue with like the sort of working from home thing. Is it more effective or not, and can it be more effective or as effective? And I think that's different for different businesses, but for our business, it's got to be in person for us to really make money, right? I mean, for music
Yeah.
performance, and the more that they sort of make that into a contentious issue, it's going to delay music performances coming back more, I think, and because it has to get to the point for us. It has to get to the point where people are comfortable just going out for fun, and rubbing elbows and dancing and having a good time. So, yeah, that's unfortunate that's happening. But yeah, we've got to sort of stay on the positive about all that stuff, and say, come out and see live music. Come see musicians. Yeah. Oh goodness. Well, so anyway, those. Oh my goodness, giant steps.
Sorry.
Man, I guess on a related note, something that we've been talking about on this broadcast is the voting rights issues. That are being called into question or threatened in many states, but probably the worst. I think they've said that it's the worst in Texas, right? The anti voting laws or the voter suppression laws that are
Mm-hmm.
were defeated by the Texas legislators, at least the Democratic ones. But they're going to come back. They're going to come back in that special session this summer, and so the solution to that, or what they're thinking the solution to that is the national legislation called the For the People Act, right? And there's a rally for that also on Sunday. That's another thing we won't have a chance to talk about next week because it'll have already happened. But it's this Sunday. It's a little more musician friendly. It's later in the day, but it'll be hotter. But the AFL-CIO, the Texas AFL-CIO, is bussing people in from all over the state. Cities all over the state are bussing in, and that's why it's later in the day. It's 5:30. It's at the Capitol. And they're going to talk about the voting rights or the voter suppression bill in Texas, but they're also going to talk about the For the People Act which is in the National Congress. That's going to sort of shut down those voter suppression efforts in all the states by guaranteeing certain voting rights all over the country, which is probably what needs to happen because obviously we're backsliding past where the Voting Rights Act of 1964, even protected us. So, have you guys heard anything about that rally on Sunday?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Anything yet? It's on Facebook. Is where I've seen it, but it's also the AFL-CIO is sending out emails about it. There's definitely gonna be some TV coverage. I'm looking at there's a whole bunch of speakers here. Claude Cummings Jr., Julian Castro, some of the representatives to Congress. Beto O'Rourke's going to be there. Let's see, Senator Royce West is going to be there. A whole bunch of really good speakers. They're like 15 of them or something. And it says more speakers to be added. So it's going to be the south steps of the Texas Capitol. at 5:30 p.m. on Sunday, which will be hot. That is going to be hot.
Yeah,
But
it'll be 100 degrees.
yeah, but
The thing about that is, I mean, if they are allowed to get away with this, you can just imagine what they will do tomorrow.
hmm absolutely, yeah, yeah. Sort of stacking the deck for the benefit of only one party.
Yeah, and it's blatant. They're not even trying to hide it anymore.
hmm Yep. Yeah, and that's the For the People Act also has it doesn't completely solve the problem of gerrymandering the districts. Like redrawing the districts in favor of one political party or another, but mostly one political party that we know of. It doesn't completely solve that problem, but it does regulate that a little bit in the states as well, and it will help that problem. Um, but it just guarantees a whole bunch of rights for voters and makes it easier to vote. Um, and the unfortunately the Republicans in the Senate in the U.S. Senate right now are saying that it makes it easier to cheat for voters, and there's just no evidence of people actually cheating. In
You're
any
just so
meaningful
losers.
way.
That's
Yeah,
how it works. You lost. Go away.
yeah,
Call
yeah.
Joe Manchin's office.
Oh my gosh,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, that whole thing. So I don't know. There was some news about the For the People Act last night with Joe Manchin, and he suggested a compromise that Stacey Abrams from Georgia actually supported. Um, but I don't know if hadn't gotten any traction as of last night.
No, it's dead.
Yeah, is that dead already? Okay, yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. So yeah, but I think we definitely need to pass that. So yeah. So anyway, join us on Sunday at 5:30. Yeah, I'm probably gonna bring a drum out there and make some noise, and we'll see what we can do. And I mean that's what we can do is show them that people are angry about this. I mean, as we should be. We got to stay angry about it
Right.
because they're gonna just punt it down the line to the next special session, and we don't even know when those are yet. So we got to stay angry about it. So yeah, gosh. Any other thoughts or anything on that topic before we move on, guys?
It's despicable, but that's about it.
Yeah, yeah. And it really it has on the national news, like the Texas voter suppression bill has been called the worst in the country, and that's so disappointing, because
Well,
I
that's what
don't.
I'm saying. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it here. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty
it's
brazen.
just- yeah, it's
Yeah,
just deplorable. I mean,
yeah. Oh man. Well, we'll have the link to that rally as well in the show notes down at the bottom. So check that out. Gosh, what's the next topic here? There's a nice article in the Statesman about Texas Performing Arts, not Texas Performing Arts as in all the performing arts in Texas, but the actual company Texas Performing Arts. But their season and how it looks to be the best in years because they're trying to draw people back into the theater. But you could say that about all Texas Performing Arts, though. I mean, it really is across the board. Everybody, as far as like the institutions, are really putting together just banger series, for their whole season coming up, starting in the fall, because they're trying to get people back back into the theaters and the concert halls and everything. So that goes for our union groups, brothers and sisters in the Austin Symphony and the Austin Opera. They're really got really really great seasons coming up this coming season to try to get folks back in there. So check it out, especially the union groups. That's good too. I wanted to also bring up did you guys see the article in the Chronicle about rehearsal spaces? There's kind of an interesting article about some of the rehearsal spaces that have closed over the years, but also the ones that are still around. And they really talk a lot about the one that closed a long time ago, called the Austin Rehearsal Complex. Did you guys ever know about that one?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And that
Yep.
that's a long time. I'm not sure how long ago. You guys remember how long ago that closed?
4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Oh no, it says 1999 it closed.
Oh, then I'm thinking of something different.
Yeah. Austin Rehearsal Complex, and of course the latest one was Music Lab, right? You know.
That's what. Yeah.
Has that totally closed now?
It's gone.
Yeah. I think the backline rental business has sort of carved itself off and is still operating, right? With
Rock and Roll Rentals is still here. They're matter of fact, they're around the corner from me.
Okay, yeah, they're still around. Yeah, but that's backline rental, not rehearsal space, right?
Yeah.
And they mentioned like space rehearsal and that they're still around, and a few others. But an interesting article. So I'll put that in the show notes because a lot of us, that's the first thing we got to do is get the band rehearsing again to do some gigs, right? And I know you guys have already done that, but and of course most of us that have been around for a long time are used to coming up with some sort of alternate rehearsal space that maybe is a little less expensive, but when you got
somebody's living room.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But when you got to play loud, you can't do that in an apartment or a condo or something like that. Maybe you can if it's a house, but sometimes the neighbors aren't so friendly. So yeah, sometimes you need that actual soundproof space or a place where the volume doesn't matter. You know, especially if you're playing with those guitar player guys, man. Those guys, woo.
And not just that, but you could actually rent a spot to store your gear there as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Some of the places had like instead of having a lockout rehearsal space that you leave your stuff there, you could actually rent a locker to store gear at. You know,
Mm-hmm.
They talked about how that was available in some places and not in other places. And is that available any place that you guys know of currently?
Not that I know of anywhere else.
Yeah,
That was
I don't think
one of
so.
the perks of going there.
what was that, Russell?
That was one of the perks of going there. That's when I was carrying stacks of gear. And someone should have told me stop that.
No, don't you wish you knew then what you know now?
Yeah. Somebody should have pulled me aside and said, "Stop that."
I hear that. I hear that, man. Yes, indeed, man. Well, any other issues about unemployment or restarting the music business this week, fellas? I didn't have anything else on my agenda for this week. And it would be appropriate to end early and celebrate Juneteenth. Some of the government offices are closing early because they didn't get the memo in time yesterday. So, yeah. Any other issues? Anything happening this weekend that we should know about?
Oh, we should still send people to the city's website because there's still money there to help you with your rent and mortgages.
Rent relief. Yes.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah, and that's going to become more important as folks get cut off from unemployment, especially in our business, right? Yep.
And be aware that September 1st, people are going to start carrying, so be careful, be mindful that road rage is an issue now.
Oh my gosh, that's a thought. Yeah, you're talking about carrying firearms without necessarily having a permit
Not
or any
permits
training.
or anything.
Yeah,
You just have them.
that goes in September 1st. Is that what you said?
September 1st.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and that's something for us to be aware of because we are out driving around, coming home from gigs at weird times of the day and night, and yeah.
Well, I mean, we're at the gigs.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, these people just walk. Anybody can just walk into any kind of business with a gun strapped to their hip.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
and drink.
That makes our workplace a little more dangerous than it was before.
Yeah,
which
I think so.
In the state of
Alcohol
Texas,
and
it was,
ammunition.
yeah, it was
That doesn't work
already
together.
kind of dangerous. Yeah, I mean, they already had, you could do concealed carry, I think, already, right, in bars or something, right? But unless they had
As long as they don't have that 30-30 sign sitting on the window, that meant you couldn't come in when you carry it. But
that's right. Yeah.
I think this even supersedes that.
Wow. Whew. Yeah. What a business. Man. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. So that September 1st that goes in. But yeah, rent relief, and also what the food bank is still operating. Austin, Yeah, Austin Food Bank. Austin Public Health is still giving vaccinations.
Vaccines.
If you still need a vaccine,
There's
you
no
know.
wait. You
Yeah.
just drive. There's no wait.
Yeah, I mean they're I mean what they're saying is there are no at this point there are no unexpected side effects. Like, we know all the side effects. They're known. It's yeah. So it's going to help everybody get back to work. So we're still encouraging that, still encouraging, if places are requiring masks, just wear the mask. I mean, it will help people be more comfortable and get things moving again, and get people more comfortable coming out to see us, because they'll be more comfortable doing their day-to-day business. So that's, yeah. Right on, fellas. Yeah. And any other thoughts about any of that?
No.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, go to a Juneteenth event. A lot of them are tonight and tomorrow, especially East Austin, of course, right? Our friends at Kenny Dorm's Backyard are doing a lot of stuff over there. So, and a lot of blues is happening over there. So, yeah, support that those locations and businesses. And yeah, I guess we can wrap it up by saying, to you, the viewer, if you're in the music business, don't give up. Things are coming back, and we can build it back better with unions, with solidarity, with sharing information, get the whole industry up and running again. And we will see you next week on the Get Back. And good to see you, Russell and Mark, as always. And we'll see y'all next week.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Take care.